It's time for the Chicago Real Estate Beat here on 1340 WJOL. Here's Ken Houbolt from Houbolt Real Estate, Ray Graylick of Graylick Insurance, Kevin Barry from the Barry Law Group, Tim Yanahan of Caliber Home Loans. This is the Chicago Real Estate Beat on 1340 WJOL.
Hello, Will County. Welcome to another edition of Chicago Real Estate Beat, brought to you by the accounting firm of DeAndre and Associates. This segment is brought to you by our good friends at Chicago Title. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show. We're along with Ray Graylick.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Timmy Yanahan.
Hi, everyone.
And Kevin Barry.
Hello, everyone.
I'm Ken Houbolt here at Chicago Real Estate Beat. We want to welcome Kevin to the show. Last week wasn't able to make it due to prior commitments. Kev, why don't you start by telling the listeners a little bit about Kevin Barry and the Barry Law Group?
Thanks, Ken. First of all, I just want to say I'm happy to be here as part of the Real Estate Network. Hopefully what I can do is bring some viewpoints from the legal aspect of real estate transactions and the industry in general. By way of introduction, I'm an attorney practicing in Will County, Cook County, Lake County. I've practiced for nearly a quarter of a century. I handle pretty much all aspects of real estate, from commercial, residential transactions, sales, purchases, other aspects of real estate as far as landlord-tenant issues, evictions, short sales. In addition to the real estate, I also handle estate planning matters such as wills, trust, powers of attorney, living wills. Hopefully I can give some more information on that out through the time of the show. If you have any questions outside of the radio show, I can always be reached at area code 773-779-6100. That's 779-6100. Or at my website at barrylawinc.com, BARRYLAWINC.com. Thanks.
Perfect. So, Timmy, what do you got for us this week?
Well, very busy week, guys. We are looking at, I just last week alone, I picked up 7 contracts. I mean, it's the
nice, very nice.
A lot of rate shoppers, so I want to talk a little bit about that. Rate shoppers, I want you to understand what goes into your interest rate and why you're assigned a specific rate. Your rate may not be the same as your neighbors, and here's the reason why. The rate is based on your credit score, the type of property you're purchasing or refinancing, the amount of your down payment, your debt-to-income ratio, which is the amount of debt that you carry versus the amount of income you take in monthly, your employment history, the term of the loan amount, and the loan-to-value ratio. Those are some of the key components. And so when a customer calls me to rate shop and calls, and a typical call would be, what's your rate today? Well, it varies because it's based on your tailored circumstances, whatever that may be. So what I like to do is get a little bit more in depth with that customer, let them know that we're going to do everything we can to get them the very best rate based on their situation. So that's what I've been seeing, quite a bit of activity with people checking out rates.
Tim, why don't we talk about the gentleman that called me, and I referred him over to you, that was living in the Grange Park. Beautiful home out there, too. Said he already had 2 quotes. Was looking to just refi. So you were the only one on the team that could really help him at this time. Why don't you watch a walkthrough and how you were able to help him out?
Well, you know what? First off, thank you for the referral, Kenny. I really appreciate it. What happens is we're looking at, different situations. It happens quite a bit where some of the other competitors out there may not be able to, help a customer based on their overall situation. At Caliber Home Loans, we have programs that some of our competitors do not have. And that is how we got this person placed with his refinance. He had a couple situations that needed to a little bit more attention. We were able to get him in and get his application approved, and he's on the process of closing that deal.
Excellent.
Tim, one thing I see in my practice is the pre-approval letters. It's the magic phrase that people want to see when they shopping for a house. What kind of information should a prospective buyer or borrower have when they call you seeking to get a pre-approval letter?
Well, great question. So typically what we like to see is their income for the last 2 years, predominantly their tax returns attached with their W-2s if you're self-employed. You might need your K-1s and additional schedules, but we need the whole package to do an actual pre-approval, along with recent 30 days of pay stubs and what their assets are for the last 60 days. The reason that's so important, guys, is because if we don't have that information, the pre-approval letter that you're looking at is really not worth the paper it's written on, because things will come up during the processing of that loan, and you'll see situations where maybe this customer is on a tight debt-to-income ratio, which we talked about earlier, is the amount of debt they carry to their the income they have. And if they're writing off a bunch of itemized deductions on their tax returns, that does come into play in some situations. So that could reduce their income and thereby not allow them to buy that property.
It's good stuff, Timmy. We appreciate that, too. So if anybody needs any help on either refinance or a loan, obviously go to our website at www.cren.biz, and Timmy's information will be there. We'll be happy to help you out. Ray, what do you got for us this week?
Well, first of all, welcome again to another edition of the Chicago Real Estate Beat Show. You know, as an insurance agent, we often have to probe our clients to make sure that we're properly getting the right amount of information to properly insure them. Often we ask questions, but I'd like to take this opportunity to give our listeners a little advice about 6 questions to ask their insurance agent. And I think when your life changes, oftentimes your insurance needs change too, yet not always clear what kind of insurance protection fits you, your family, your business. And what a family of 6 needs is much different than what a single 20-something might need, and that's why you need a professional agent that could take you through every step of the way. The first question I would recommend asking your insurance agent is, if my family is growing and changing, what coverage should I consider? And the answer you should probably get is a review of life insurance. It's something most families need. The primary reason most people buy life insurance is to protect their loved ones from financial burden after unexpected death. I think a typical homeowner's insurance policy covers personal belongings, furnishings up to certain policy limits, but for higher valued items such as diamond rings, rare pieces of art, or expensive electronic equipment, you may need to expand your protection with higher policy limits and extra coverage, something we like to call a personal articles floater. Number 2 question you might want to ask is, do I need additional insurance if I'm remodeling or adding on to my home? And the answer is, in some cases, remodeling projects would increase your home's value. If they do, you'll want to adjust your insurance coverage so your home's reconstruction costs are fully covered. Another great question to ask if you're talking to your insurance professional is, I'm fresh out of school and new to the workforce. What coverage do I need? And I would say that if you left home and are renting an apartment, you no longer are covered by your parents' homeowner's insurance anymore. Instead, you'll need a renter's insurance policy to cover your belongings and more. And, of course, when it comes to auto insurance, you may be tempted to buy a bare-bones policy to save money. And I have to tell everybody out there, that's a really risky move because it will not give you enough protection if your insurance policy doesn't cover for all the damages. And your savings and future wages could be at stake.
Ray, I think another question that you got listed here is, what coverage do I need for my home-based business?
Well, obviously, from inventory to libel issues to customers visiting your home, home-based businesses definitely need coverage. Depending, folks, on the nature of your home-based business, you may need a simple endorsement to your homeowner's insurance policy.
Okay, well, so a friend was sued after a car accident, Ray. How do we make sure he's protected against this, something like this going forward?
Well, your insurance policy already includes liability coverage, yet state minimums are almost never enough for most drivers. So, hey, everybody, having too little liability puts you and your assets at risk, so be careful. There's also something called a personal liability umbrella, which can be an excess coverage to your underlying policy limits to give you that extra protection. And the last question you might want to ask, number 6, I'll let Kevin ask that one.
Probably the bottom line, Ray, is everyone looks at, they shop for what's the premium cost. So how can you show them to lower their premiums?
Well, I can tell you right now, nearly all insurers offer price breaks on coverages based on having like a safe driving record or bundling your auto and homeowners coverage together. You need to talk to your agent about finding out more about discounts. It's also important, though, to be cautious about selecting any insurance company or agency to deal with based solely on price. Instead, I think I would recommend everybody to seek out insurance companies with reputations for excellent customer service, strong financial standing, and a reputation for handling claims quickly and fairly.
That's good. So if you guys need more information on your insurance, remember to check out our website, cren.biz, and Ray's information is there too. Kev, what do you got for us this week?
I wanted to talk about the contract formation when buyers and sellers are in the process of verbal negotiations are complete, and now we're getting to the point where a written contract has been accepted. One of the first questions I always get is, why do I need an attorney in the transaction? My answer is because. No, but seriously, I tell people, the example I give them is, how often do you spend $250,000 in a day? The answer is probably never, other than buying a house. Since it's
Ray never even spends a quarter at lunch, so that's what we're talking about.
Funny guy, isn't he?
Guess he's not buying today.
I was going to until that comment.
No, but seriously, it's the most important thing you're going to do in your lifetime as far as a financial transaction. You definitely should be protected. You should have an attorney review the contract prior to signing. Unfortunately, I often get people come in after the contract was signed, and that's okay because by far the vast majority of contracts that I do review have a built-in attorney review period. Typically, it can vary, but typically it's a 5 business day. So it's incumbent upon the buyer and or seller, as well as the real estate agent, to get it to their attorney as soon as possible so we can do that. The one thing, and we're going to touch upon this in the next segment, but I want to bring it up now. I'm often seeing now with the market values changing over the last several years, they're not appraising out. It's really important because most of the contracts I see does not have a contingency on an appraisal value. For example, you buy a property for $100,000, you're locked in that contract, but yet the appraisal comes back at $90,000. If it's not provided for in the contract, you are still forced to go through with the deal, even though the value is going to be dropped, and or your bank won't approve you the loan for that house. So it's very important to get that done and get done quickly.
And we do see that quite a bit with the multiple offers. Kev, great
Yes.
information. And I can only tell you that I had a customer going several months back that was adamant that she's done this before. She's had 3 different houses in her lifetime. Don't want to use an attorney. And I said, you don't really have to use an attorney. I advise highly that you do. And certainly that situation came up. And it does every time that something like that happens where a customer says, hey, I don't want to use an attorney, a situation comes up where they need the attorney. And then 2 weeks into the deal, she hired an attorney.
Unfortunately, Tim, I see that all too often. It's one of the worst phone calls I can get is a situation where somebody already completed the transaction and something went wrong. I had a client, unfortunately, last week give me a call. He's a flipper. He has done this dozens of times, cash buyer. So he figures cash, it's simple. He came back and said the 2012 taxes weren't paid and he didn't do the research because he didn't know how to. So how does he take care of that? He probably be stuck paying that tax bill to get the property back in good shape with the county. So it's without a doubt, it's highly suggested.
So what do you got going on, Ken?
Well, first of all, I want to talk about a couple of my listings, just on a commercial. For you investors that are out there that are looking for an investment that's pretty much turnkey, you can either come in and become the landlord, or you can become an active participant in the property. I want to talk about 2 of them. One's located right here in Lamont. It's a mixed-use building. On top, they have a 2,500 square foot apartment, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, just recently remodeled. And below there's a restaurant and a bar. And it's the Stone Pub that's located at 103 Stevens Street in Lamont. And if you haven't had the opportunity to be in this building, it is absolutely one of a kind. So, go to our website, www.cren.biz. Get my information. I'll be happy to share that with you. Also, I want to talk about one more that's located in the heart of Beverly. It's truly a turnkey building that it's already fully rented, and we can be happy to show it to you. It's listed at $449,900, and we can definitely get you into that one too. So we're going to take a break right now. When we come back, we're going to be with Bill Mannion from Mannion Appraisals, and we'll be talking to him about some of the things that you should know when you have an appraisal done on your property. So you've been listening to Chicago Real Estate Beat, brought to you by the accounting firm of DeAndre and Associates, and this segment was also brought to you by Chicago Title. This has been 1340 WJOL, Will County's News, Talk, and Sports. We'll be right back.
Houbolt Real Estate is your full-service real estate brokerage firm. Whether you are buying or selling residential or commercial, Houbolt Real Estate can help you obtain your goals. With over 25 years of local expertise, Houbolt Real Estate has the knowledge and expertise to deliver your desired results. Our team has been exceeding the goals of families and companies since 1991. Call today to put the Houbolt Real Estate team to work for you. Call 708-220-7613 or check out HouboltRE.com. Houbolt Real Estate will exceed your expectations.
Hi, this is Kevin Collins from WJOL. Our focus is Will County, but we'd like you to think globally for a moment. A state of emergency has been declared in Somalia as a drought continues and threatens the lives of children and families. Lack of food and clean water will cost many children their lives unless there is an immediate response. If this drought continues, experts fear that it will be worse than the 2011 Horn of Africa famine that killed 260,000 people. Now, here's how you can help. You can prevent unnecessary deaths by responding immediately to this crisis. $138 will provide 3 months of emergency water and 3 months of emergency food for one family. $92 will give water and food to a family for 2 months. $46 will give water and food to a family for 1 month. How many Somali families can you help rescue from this life-threatening drought? Go to WJOL.com right now and make a difference in these families' lives.
The Joliet-Will County area has a long history of tornadoes. From Plainfield to Coal City to Crest Hill, we've been through it all. For over 90 years, WJOL has been the area's place to turn for coverage of severe weather, watches, warnings, the aftermath. Stay connected with the changing weather here in the Joliet area on 1340 WJOL and on our new WJOL app, on our WJOL Facebook page, and on Twitter at WJOL.
Caliber Home Loans Incorporated, NMLS 15622, is an equal housing lender and an Illinois residential mortgage license number MB0004043, 1431 Opus Place, Suite 135, Downers Grove, Illinois 60515. Not all customers will qualify. Other restrictions and limitations apply.
This is the Chicago Real Estate Beat on 1340 WJOL.
Welcome back to Chicago Real Estate Beat, brought to you by the accounting firm of DeAndre and Associates. This segment is brought to you by Caliber Home Loans. And we want to welcome to the show Bill Mannion from Mannion Appraisals. And anytime that all three of us deal with the appraisal and process of buying or selling a home, or even when they're refining, an appraisal usually comes into play. So we thought it was important to bring Bill Mannion, who's been doing this for a while, on here too. So, Bill, welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. How are you doing?
Good. Bill, why don't you start out by telling us a little bit about yourself, how you got into the business, and tell us a little bit about what makes you different in your approach.
Well, Ken, I've been doing it almost 20 years. I initially got in. I was always interested in real estate. So I decided to go ahead and get my license. And I've had a lot of experience on the south side and the various suburbs. I do Cook County, DuPage County, and even Will County. Seeing the ups and downs in the industry, starting back in '06 when the market crashed. So I've seen it before then and after then, and there's been a lot of fluctuation over the years with the ups and downs of the values concerning homeowners' properties.
It's good stuff. Hey, Bill, Timmy Yanahan, your mortgage man. I wanted to ask you if you could tell us the difference between an appraisal and an inspection, because a lot of people group those two together.
Yeah, exactly. The difference would be when a home inspector, their main function is to come out to a property, and in order to protect the homeowner, they're more technical. They're specific concerning plumbing, electric, roof, all the various mechanicals that are in the property. They do a very detailed analysis of the various components, whereas an appraisal, we look for things that are readily observable. When we pull up, we take a general cursory look of the outside of the home, see if the roof, if there's anything obvious. Whereas, the home inspectors, they get real technical to make sure everything's running right. We don't go that far in that respect. We want to observe the general condition and quality of the house. So it's a little bit different.
So it sounds more, inspection's more of a, mechanical functionality of a property. The appraisal's more of a market analysis or an opinion of value.
Yes, that's our main goal, is to deliver the market value, our estimate of that. Market value can be described as the most probable price that a home would bring if it was on the market, and what price that would bring between two people who, with no external influences in a free market, what's the most probable price that house would sell for?
Good stuff.
Hey, Bill, how are you? It's Kevin Barry. Thanks for coming on today.
Hey, Kevin. Thank you.
One of the stuff I deal with at the real estate closing when I'm going through loan documents is this phrase, private mortgage insurance. That if they don't put down a sufficient amount of a down payment, they're going to be paying a premium to insure the bank for that loan. I always tell people, and I explain to them how they can get rid of that over time. Can you give me a couple examples of things a homeowner can do in the short term to increase the value?
Yes, in the short term, I would say, when I come out to the house, it always helps if there's not excessive clutter in the house. So I'm able to, see what type of flooring, what kind of condition it's in. I think you can't go wrong with paint ever, and that's fairly inexpensive, and it goes to the quality and the condition of the property. It just looks so much better. What we do in an appraisal is there's categories of condition, and it's really our opinion. C1 would be new construction. Most people are not going to have that. But people that have, pretty much gut rehab their house, they'd fall into that C2.
Okay.
But for most people, I would say it's the next two. It's C3 or C4. And it just concerns if you've done any updating, if you've maybe refinished the hardwood, if you've painted, maybe replaced a few things in the bathroom or the kitchen, upgraded the cabinets or something like that, you'd fall in the C3.
Bill,
these little things, it's just a little bit of difference there between each category.
Bill, how about exterior? How about landscaping come into play at all?
We don't have a specific spot in the report where we analyze landscaping, but let's be honest, we pull up to a house and it's well taken care of on the outside, and the shrubs are trimmed and the grass is cut and there's not weeds popping all over the driveway. It does go to the overall condition of the property, yes.
Yeah. Curb appeal matters, right?
I think so, yes. Not as much on our end. It's more the real estate agent is really concerned with that. But it does matter to the appraisal, too, yes.
Great, thanks.
Hey, Billy, would it be a good idea? So if you were coming out to appraise my house, that I should maybe list all the improvements that I've done in the future. I mean, in the past few months on there too.
Yes, that's very important. A lot of times when I'm at the property and I ask them what improvements they've made, people forget all the many little things they've done. So if you write it down, a lot of them write it down, they hand it to me, I stick it in the file, so when I write up my report, I incorporate all those things into my report, and they go to the overall condition of the property. So I think it's a very good idea to write it down, yes.
Hey, Billy, Ray Graylick here. Once again, thank you for being on the show, and most importantly, thank you for being a member of the Chicagoland Real Estate Network. We get a lot of people who might ask the question, hey, what's the greatest, what increases the home of the value the greatest? Like, what would I have to do to have the best bang for my buck? What would you tell people?
Well, it goes back to, it's really kitchen and bathrooms, I think, probably contribute the most to the overall value. And they're two of the most expensive things also, that's why. But if you've, improved your kitchen, if you've improved your bathrooms, you're going to improve the value of the property immensely.
Bill, how important is it if someone has a basement that they may want to finish it?
Well, that's a tough one to call because you're getting to the point where is it going to increase the value as much as it costs? And it's pretty close, especially if there's a bathroom in the basement. That's kind of key. If you have a finished basement and you didn't, do it real nice, it's not going to improve that much. But if you have drywall down there, good flooring, and you have a basement down there, yeah, that's equivalent to most kitchen and bathroom upgrades. It's a big one, the basement, yes.
Yeah, you'll find people want to put a bar. They'll have a shower, they'll have a full bath down there, and this way they can, when they have parties, they can expand their home into another.
Or you
area.
never have to go up to the rest of the house.
There you go.
Yeah, you never have to walk up the stairs.
A man cave, gotta love it. Yeah, and conversely, Billy, as we know in the report, there's not a lot of value for a bedroom below grade. It's usually above grade is where you're getting the best bang for your buck on a report. Is that accurate?
Yeah, a lot of people would prefer to have a large family room in the basement as opposed to taking a section off and putting a bedroom. So it depends on the individual buyer. But as an appraiser, I don't give extra value if there's a bedroom in the basement as opposed to just a bigger family room or den down there.
Very good. So what makes you different from any other residential appraisers?
Well, I think it's just my experience. I've been doing it almost 20 years. I
pretty much seen it all.
Respect. Yeah, seen all the ups and downs, and a lot of people just there's many reasons to get an appraisal. A lot of people want to try to avoid the PMI. That's one of them. Divorce, tax appeal. Maybe there was a death in the family, estate purposes. Or maybe just somebody wants to know where they stand, how much equity they have in their property. So there's a lot of different reasons, and we can handle all those needs. I provide a very timely manner. I can get it back to you. We usually email. As soon as I'm finished, I'll email you a copy, and it'll have a digital signature, so you're able to print it or forward it to your attorney or tax guy or whatever you need.
Yeah, good stuff. And I like that you brought up dropping the PMI because a lot of customers, I'm actually dealing with one before the show. I stopped out in the Marquette Park area where the customer purchased a property several years back. They have an equity position, and they were looking to drop their mortgage insurance, so they're going to need an appraisal. But they also had mentioned, hey, we may want to do some cash out. So with the dropping of the mortgage insurance, typically, listeners, what you're going to need to do with and it varies from lender to lender, but I can only tell you with Caliber Home Loans, you're going to want to make sure that your payment history, especially for the last 12 months, is as agreed. Secondly, they're going to need a letter requesting that, and they're going to thirdly need that appraisal, and you can typically assure yourself that there's going to be a charge for that, and it varies by lender as well. But that's all good information on there, Billy. Thank you.
Hey, Bill, I got a question regarding FHA as it relates to appraisals. In my practice, I see where sellers tend to look at a FHA potential buyer as a negative thing, given the fact that they're putting less down, typically lower income, they've left invested in it. I think in a certain way it's good because it also widens the net for these sellers for potential buyers. But as it relates to appraisal, it's my understanding that if we get a low appraisal on a property, there's an FHA file that stays with the property. Can you explain that to me?
Kevin, I'm not aware of that end of it. That would be more a lender-related question. But okay. I do know that a lot of people that have FHA financing will go out to the property, and because it's FHA, we have to look a little harder at a few items that, can make it so it does not comply with FHA. The main things I see are if there's any peeling paint on any properties that were built after 1958. Peeling paint, it'll be rejected, and they have to take care of that, and then I'd be called back to the property after it was done to verify that it was taken care of. And another one is handrails going up and down stairs. Okay. Those two I see a lot, and they do hold up the process because they have to be taken care of before they'll approve that FHA loan.
Yeah, and just to piggyback off what Kevin was asking, as a lender, The appraisal for FHA will stick with that property for up to 180 days, listeners. Just wanted to piggyback on that.
Hey,
All
Billy,
right,
thanks a lot for
Thank you.
Hey, Billy, thanks a lot for coming on, sharing it too. If your listeners out there want to get Billy's information, go to the CREN.biz website, and you can get a hold of Billy there. But, Billy, if you want to share your phone number with the listeners in case they get a call for you right away, please do.
Yeah, I can be reached at area code 708-363-7475.
All right, great, Billy. Thanks for being on with us, and we'll be talking to you soon.
Thanks, Billy.
Thanks, Bill.
Good
All right.
job.
Thanks for having me, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Billy. Hey, so there you have it. That's pretty good. Think about it. All the appraisals that we're seeing coming in. If people just take a list and you walk through their house and put everything down, how about it? We forget about all the little. If it's a little stuff that you don't know, put it on the list. Give it to the appraiser. Let them check it out.
You walk up the stairs, you see cracked concrete or maybe a handrail loose. As Billy alluded to, the handrails are important. It's about safety, soundness, and security of the property, guys, in any appraisal.
Any little thing you could do as a seller to increase the value of your home is good.
Exactly, too. Well, we're going to take a break right now. You've been listening to Chicago Real Estate, brought to you by the accounting firm of DeAndre and Associates. This segment was brought to you by Caliber Home Loans. When we come back, the boys are going to talk about an article that was in the Chicago Tribune a little while ago about 5 things you shouldn't scavenge from the alley. So we're going to have a little bit of fun with that and talk that, too. So you're listening to Chicago Real Estate Beat on 1340 WJOL, Will County's News, Talk, and Sports. We'll be right back.
Graylick Insurance Agency is an independent insurance agency representing several companies in auto, home, commercial, and workers' comp insurance. The cornerstone of our agency is our ability to tailor-make policies and provide insurance choices with top-rated insurance companies. The Graylick Insurance Agency is your one-stop resource for all of your insurance needs. We put you first and work within your budget. Contact us today at 773-284-7650, GraylickAgency.com.
I'm Carol McGowan with 1340 WJOL's Community Calendar. Get involved in the mission of Veterans Outreach in Kendall County. Become a member, sponsor, or volunteer. Their mission is to help and serve all separated or returning home veterans. This is a community group, and they strive to make a difference in the lives of Kendall County veterans. They are not part of the government or Kendall County and raise the funds themselves. For more information, call 630-636-8229. And cruise nights at the Stone City VFW, $21.99, located at 124 Stone City Drive in Joliet, the corner of 53 and Laraway. They take place on Wednesdays through September, 6 to 9 p.m. It's brought to you by Cruising for the Vets. Again, takes place every Wednesday through September. Cruise nights at the Stone City VFW, 6 to 9 p.m. That's the community calendar for 1340 WJOL, Will County's News, Talk, Sports.
The Joliet-Will County area has a long history of tornadoes. From Plainfield to Coal City to Crest Hill, we've been through it all. For over 90 years, WJOL has been the area's place to turn for coverage of severe weather, watches, warnings, the aftermath. Stay connected with the changing weather here in the Joliet area on 1340 WJOL and on our new WJOL app, on our WJOL Facebook page, and on Twitter at WJOL. This is the Chicago Real Estate Beat on 1340 WJOL.
Welcome back to Chicago Real Estate Beat, brought to you by the accounting firm of DeAndre and Associates. This segment is brought to you by Chicago Real Estate Network, and you can find them at www.cren.biz, along with Kevin Berry, Timmy Yanahan, Ray Graylick. I'm Ken Houbolt. And, guys, we talked about before we went to break that there was an article that we talked about on our other show weeks ago, but we thought it'd be fun to talk about again because we did have a lot of laughs doing it. So, Kev, why don't you start out by telling us 5 things that you probably shouldn't scavenge from the alley?
Well, I think the first one, hopefully, is obvious to people, is mattresses and box spring.
I think Ray had one on his car when he pulled up today, didn't he?
I'm sleeping on one right
It
now.
looked like it was soiled too, Ray.
Those things, I'm sure, have been sitting in the house, and certain activities have probably taken place on that mattress that should not be dealt with and not be touched in the alley or the street.
How about number 2, upholstered furniture? Looks cozy, but you never know what's growing, and there are little bugs. And I just don't like this.
Don't let the bed bugs
a little
bite.
mildew in there, Timmy. What do you think?
Popcorn from the last movie you watched.
Yeah.
There might be some change in there, though.
That's
Could be
true.
a good investment opportunity.
Yeah, how about this one, guys? Number 3, rugs and carpets. You talk about carpet fibers and dust mites galore. I think that this article goes on to say that you probably want to at least get the carpet professionally cleaned, or maybe leave it back in the alley where you found it.
I think the latter, Ray, would be better.
Yeah, you're probably right, Kevin. What do you got there, Ken?
Well, I think the next thing you definitely want to mess out is you want children's items. You know, how often do you see there's old toys and what they're too? So you got to ask yourself, did the child have enough stuffed animals that may have lice and there's something too, or it might have something, you know, God only knows what that thing could have been used for. So I guess you don't want to be picking up stuffed animals out of there.
Well, you better believe it. But there is a great company out there you guys are aware of. Once Upon a Child, they do sell a lot of, secondhand toys and stuff like that for kids. And I know that those reputable places clean and disinfect and repackage most things.
Right.
Sometimes they're like re-gifted items anyway you might find over there.
I think a lot of those too are board games and actual toys. Here, I think they're talking more about, actual
pacifiers you can put in your mouth.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm thinking back to our Christmas party and the stuff that Ray gave us. You know, kind of. You know, is it catching with you too?
Well, yeah.
I gave you a deck of cards with 50 cards in it.
Well, we know you're always got a few cards short from a full deck there, pal.
Right. The Chinese checkers, the marbles were missing.
Well, if you're not willing to take our advice on this and the article's advice, at least you could probably get a whole room set up. You could put your furniture, rugs, you can get a box spring in there. You'd have a nice little apartment set up.
Hey, guys, how about sofas and pillows? You know, they say a free couch is easier to pass knowing there's a great likelihood that a pet's napped in it for years.
What if the pet's still in there?
Well, the big thing would be in sofas, I think, pet dander, right, guys?
Like a chop.
Kenny, you got a little dander coming on me. Stop, would you please?
Easy now. Come on here, too.
Well, there's also some things the article goes on to say, guys, that are probably acceptable as far as sanitation. It's they're sanitized, or you can wipe them down. Maybe lamps, some other things, plastic items such as patio umbrellas. If you bleach them, you clean them with cleaning products. Some of those things, probably are acceptable.
Another on a little serious note, I mean, the people who are doing this is whether a homeowner is trying to get rid of some of these items, they should probably contact their local city or village for any type of bulk pickup.
Agreed. Everyone says, one man's gold is, or one man's garbage is another man's gold is, I guess, the term. And I can tell you over the years, I've seen things that, were usable that are out in the garbage.
Guys,
Sure.
I think often you might find items like this at a person's garage sale or whatever,
Correct.
and it's been their personal property for a long time. And
That's what
when you
it's
find something in the alley, usually somebody didn't want it, and I don't think that they care to sell it either.
Well, the garage sale's over and they want it out is kind of what you're looking
So
at.
tell me what's the difference between buying their used stuff in a garage versus taking it on the street.
Well, you hope that you hope that maybe the bugs didn't get
Spoken
to
like
it.
a true counselor.
There you go, counselor.
Hey guys, I want to mix it up a little bit too. Something came across our table earlier today, and we wanted to talk about rates and people locking them in. So, Timmy, I think it might be a good time for you to jump in and talk about what does it exactly mean when somebody says, "I want to lock my rate in."
Okay, so it's a great point. There's a program that Caliber Home Loans offers, guys, and it's called Lock It Shop. And what that does, it gives the ability to a consumer in a volatile market, which we've seen, that you can apply with Caliber Home Loans. Our operations department will process the application and lock you in at that point. And you could shop around with Kenny Houbolt Realty, or whoever you're working with, for up to 30 days. And if you get into come under a contract, so while you're negotiating, your file is being processed. We'll go ahead and extend that or adjust their lock up to a term of 75 days, which is really a good tool to have in our little tool chest to make sure that our buyers are getting the best opportunity for the rates while they are down.
I think that's great, Tim, but your focus is always on borrowers and buyers. From the seller side, you become a much more attractive buyer when you can flash say that I'm locked in, I'm ready to go, I'm pre-approved with Caliber Home Loans. That may be the difference between getting your bid accepted or not.
That's an awesome point. And yes, it is. It is the difference, and it has been recently. And you what you do is you see an actual approval, not a pre-approval, an approval that has been conditioned. So we need an appraisal, we need a contract, and we need a title report. But the rest of the file is approved. That's what this is. That's what this is geared to, guys. This is going to help those individuals out there that, hey, maybe we're coming into school. Everybody's got to put their kids in school, so maybe they're shuffling. Maybe they sold their house. I could only speak from experience. My cousin sold his place in the Beverly area, and he's looking to relocate into a suburban area, and he had to get under contract to get the kids in school. And so this was a great little tool for him.
Great product.
Guys, I guess it boils down to the most prepared buyer is going to be the one that's going to get what they need out of that deal. Even sellers have to be prepared too. Buyers are going to be picky, but we talk a lot about these multiple contracts and everything else that's going on, rate locks and all that. I think if you go in there thinking, well, we'll just see, throw it against the wall, see what sticks, you're not going to get what you want.
Agreed. Another thing I want to make sure we touch on, guys, is do your homework with your insurance agent. Contact your insurance provider. Like I said, you can check out Ray Graylick on our www.cren.biz and have him take a look at things prior to going out, because then you'll know what your insurance costs are going to be.
Thank you, Timmy. Thank you very much.
To piggyback on that, Tim, Ray, you mentioned something earlier about the different types of insurance they should look for. You mentioned one, you touched on umbrella. Our focus here has been the real estate market in general. It also applies to business. I'm a business owner. We're all business owners. I have an umbrella policy. I think it's a great way to add additional protection against certain liability for your business as well.
Well, absolutely. No one has a crystal ball to be able to tell somebody, hey, I could predict in the next, 24 months the worst thing in your life's going to happen. Buy that insurance policy now for your extra excess liability like the umbrella, as Kevin suggests. What we do is we try to make that as a general recommendation to even, our regular personal lines clients as well, but particularly our commercial clients. They should have that extra liability coverage. Kevin, as an attorney, litigation, especially in Cook and Will County, they throw lawsuits out there like sword caps. So, I believe that having a personal liability umbrella is a fantastic way to sleep good at night.
All right, so Cubs or Sox today? I'm taking Sox for a sweep.
Go White Sox.
I'm going to have to go with the Cubs. I don't think that they're going to pull two in a row, guys.
Way to go, Switzerland.
I got my broom. We're going to sweep.
Hey, before we go, I want to give a shout-out to our guest that we have here in the studio today. My favorite little basketball player, Ryan Houbolt, was here too, right? You want to say
hi?
Oh, thanks for coming out, girl.
All right, thanks there too. Hey, so I just wanted to remind all the listeners to go to our website. If you're any asset of real estate, you want to check out our website.
Guys, the Cren website is www.cren.biz. And what it is, it's a network of real estate professionals designed for you, the homeowner. You'll find an array of different businesses in there that can help you from A to Z, whether it be an insurance issue, a mortgage issue, a legal issue, whether you need a remodeling job done at your home, whether you have a need for an appraisal or a home inspection. You check out the website and think of the Chicagoland Real Estate Network like a library. You don't have to know where every book is or what's in it, but you do have to know where to find it. So visit us on the web at cren.biz.
That's perfect. So that's going to do it for this week. We want to thank all our sponsors, Chicago Title, Chicago Real Estate Network, Caliber Home Loans, and especially the accounting firm of DeAndre & Associates. Next week, Zen and McHugh is going to join us from DeAndre & Associates and talk about investing in properties and stuff like that, too. And all of us look forward to Zen and being on there, too. So for Kevin Berry, Timmy Yanahan, Ray Graylick, I'm Ken Houbolt. We'll see you all next week.
So long, everyone.